Ciao ragazzi, my name is Anthony. Welcome along to Football Worldwide. You are watching the Serie A Roundtable, and the games are going to start coming in hard and heavy. Midweek fixtures, weekend fixtures, but we're here to talk about match day 9, which has just passed us. I have an awesome panel with me joining as per usual, going around from what I see. First, Adam, how you doing, my friend?
How are you, Anthony? How are you, boys? Good to be back.
Always good to see you, my friend. Riccardo, all the way from Sicily. Good to see you, my friend. How are you?
Ciao ragazzi, all good from here. Nice to be back on the show.
Fantastic to see you, bro. Anthony, nice to see you, man. Decked out. You're feeling good, man. Top of the table.
Well, equal top. I still can't knock Armour off yet, but maybe another couple of weeks and we'll see. But yeah, it's good to be back, mate.
Yeah, it is. And Armando, good to see you smiling as always, my friend.
I want to say something. We are top of the ladder. Huh? They below us. Sorry. I take anything I can. I'm not a supporter of a team that wins everything. So
good match day, man. There's a lot to speak about. We had myself and Riccardo go head to head. We had Adam and Armando go head to head. So first one on the agenda is the 0-0 draw between Spalletti and Mourinho. Fantastic match. We're going to go over to Adam first to kick it off. Adam, what did you make of the match? Talk for as long as you want, my friend. You and Armando have the floor first.
Yeah, look, I'll come at you with a glass half full for this one because coming off that what do you even call it? That trip to the North Pole to Santa Claus's house midweek, and losing the way we did was just something that no one would have expected. Regardless of who was out there representing the shirt, it was just disastrous and a total embarrassment. I don't mind losing, but losing against a team from Norway who'd never heard of before the draw was quite embarrassing. So, it was interesting to see how we're going to back it up. We all know what Mourinho said after the game in Norway, and the fact that he can't rely, or he feels he can't rely on his squad. He can only rely on his starting 11 and maybe 2 or 3 players off the bench. And that's the reason why, and we've spoken about it before on the show, the fact that he's pretty much gone with the same starting 11 for every game in Serie A so far this season. And he did it again. So he did. He announced the lineup well before the game against Napoli. And we'll get to the post-match after we talk about the game. But the game itself, I think it was a fair result. Armando will probably agree that 0-0 was a fair result at the end. My main takeaway of it was the pattern that keeps happening now is that we just can't finish. We're finding it hard to finish off some of our chances, and we had 2 glorious chances during the game. One was when in the first half when Cristante played a beautiful ball through to Abraham, who created some space for himself through the middle, got in through that little gap through 2 defenders and tried to slide it past Ospina, but went just narrowly past the post. And the second one was in the second half, a beautiful free kick from Pellegrini, planted on the top of Gianluca Mancini's head, and all he had to do was put it on target, really, because he was almost on the penalty spot, and he sent that wide as well. So they're 2 of the chances that went missing for us. We've talked about Osimhen as well on this program many times. I thought that Roger Ibanez did a great job on him. Pretty much man-marked him, which I haven't seen from a defender in any league for a while, actually. He literally followed him everywhere he went. And then Mancini just played that sort of the old-school sweeper role at times, which is a tactic, like I said, I haven't seen, which was interesting to see. So he pretty much had him in his back pocket for most of the game. Didn't give him any space at all. And I think that could be the catalyst of stopping this new wonder kid, this new kid on the block. So Mourinho after the game, one other thing I wanted to touch on was the refereeing. Armando will probably agree as well that Massa did a pretty good job during the game. It was a 0-0 game that didn't create a lot of chances, but it was pretty frenetic. It played at a high tempo. There were some episodes during the game that could have been a little bit contentious. He could have, on another day, another ref might have given a couple of red cards for second yellows, but Massa left the card in his pocket, let the players play, and in the end, it was a great spectacle. So credit to him, credit to whoever was on the VAR as well for a foul on Anguissa in the box in the second half that was sort of 50-50. But played in real time, it's never a penalty. But when in that super slow mo, and we've talked about it off air, where any contact looks like it could be a penalty. So really, really well done by whoever was on the VAR to take that into account. Mourinho after the game, interesting again. His press conferences get better by the day from an entertainment aspect. He pretty much announced the lineup for the Cagliari game in his post-match press conference against Napoli, which is unheard of. I've never seen that before ever from any coach. But again, it just goes to show he's got one side of the change room who will go out and battle and eat nails for him before they go out on the park, and then you've got this other set of players who were sent into the stands because of their performance in Bodo in Norway, who are pretty much on the outer and will probably be on the market in January. So Friedkin has set aside a budget of $75 million, 75 million euro for the January market. So we might see some clubs inflating some of their prices for players that we target now that that's known. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in the next Mercato, and more interesting to see what happens in the summer Mercato, but we obviously can talk about that down the track. But I'll take the 0-0 against a team that hasn't lost yet, and move forward against Cagliari, against a team that has tripped us up a few times over the last couple of years. So interested to hear Armando's take on the game.
Thank you, Adam. Pretty much, I agree with you from my side as well. So the game was, if you haven't watched the game and you got the luxury or the chance to watch it, I suggest everybody to go watch it. To me, look a very old school game. As a Napoli fan, I'm happy that we faced it at Roma. They played that aggressive, and there's such a game. I think Mourinho strategy, it worked. I know it did not work on Wednesday, but his strategy was to rest the team because he knew that against Napoli, if he didn't have his starting 11 rested, it could have been a big risk. I had fear of this game. If you ask a couple of the boys from the Roma club in Melbourne, or a couple of friends of us from the group that I chat with, I told them I hope I take a draw, because playing versus Roma, after they lost the derby, and then they lost the big game in North Pole, wherever they went. It's not a nice game for us. And if you think about history of football, Napoli was coming from 8 consecutive victory. Roma was in the worst shape ever coming off that game. Could have been a typical game when Napoli bottled. All right, history tells us they will normally do. Instead, I was really happy to see, first of all, that's the first game that Napoli faced against a team that comes for a fight. And I like to see that no one lose control, got a stupid red card, because also it's another test for my team. I also agree with Adam that the referee did a great job, because I like, football is a men's sport. There's a bit of contact, bit of push, bit of kick. Modern referee, normally they throw yellow card for accident fault or for, things that are not really bad, not really dangerous. They're not going to really hurt anyone. And sometimes you end up having a play send off with 2 stupid yellow cards and don't do nothing hard to anyone, but the players got sent off. So I was really concerned about during the game, because there were a couple of moments where either a Roma player or a Napoli player could have get a yellow or an orange card. And I was happy that the referee let the play, because that's the way football should be. And if you watch that game, you guys, even if it's a 0-0, it's a very entertaining game for the reason. And there was a moment of the game where both teams was countering attack each other. It was very interesting. The draw is a fair result, even if Napoli create a little bit more chances. But overall, I think it was a very good game to watch. A very fair result. Good referee. I don't understand why he sent off the 2 coaches. That's another thing the referee needs to learn. Coaches got a lot of pressure on their head. And sometimes they just, it's not like they're swearing. Once again, it's like on the pitch. Sometimes let it go. It's not like the coach is doing anything wrong, Like in this case, Spalletti, somebody might disagree, but Spalletti goes to him, Massa, bravo, well done, good job. And he's got a red card. The guys keep saying that he was genuine. Is he compliment?
I don't believe him, Armando.
I know a lot of people have seen Spalletti be very sarcastic in the past. I don't understand how the ref can card him for that, though.
But I watched the video, man. Did you watch the video? He didn't look sarcastic at all.
I see the video, but I've seen Spalletti
Massa, bravo, good stuff, well done, good job.
Yeah,
so he might be sarcastic, but he did not look sarcastic in that scenario. You know.
Yeah, man. You know,
Even if he is a little bit sarcastic, what do you really need to spend 2 games on the sideline for this now?
I know.
but you
That's
gotta
another
understand
thing.
Spalletti's character, though. Spalletti's got that character where he does that, and you see.
I don't even know why Mourinho got sent off. For one stage, I saw the referee.
Do you know what Mourinho in his post-match press conference said to this, admitted that he deserved to be sent off.
Yeah, but why? I didn't know why he got sent off.
The first yellow card, he protested a decision.
Yeah.
And the second yellow card, he also protested the decision, kicked the water bottle about 50 meters up in the air.
No, but Aspetta, all right. But he was towards his bench and was screaming at his bench, and he kicked the ball towards his bench. It's a reaction. You're gonna let these coaches.
I totally understand. We both coach Armando. We know what it's like on the sideline, but they're the rules.
But you know what? Because of the conduction of the game, I have to say Massa did very good. I'm very happy.
Oh yeah, of course.
I'm not gonna complain. Going back to the game, like I said, I'll take the draw because we always need to think about to keep the time safe distance from the 5th place at Napoli. Then when April comes, it was still up there. We're worrying about the Scudetto. But right now, we need to think about that. The last 2 seasons, we did not qualify for Champions League. And especially the last season, we did not qualify for Champions League because we were a bacalas in many games. Crotone, Verona, Venezia, you mentioned, you know? So this year, I want to keep going, and drawing against Roma, it's actually in Roma, it's not a bad result. Taking consideration that the rest of Serie A draw, except AC Milan, but AC Milan, out of all of them, it was having on the piper the easy game. Now, what's going to be interesting, the next 3 games, Napoli, that's what I want to test Napoli. We're going to play against 3 teams that on piper, we should win easy, and then we have Inter. But in those 3 games, I think Milan's got a...
Roma and Inter.
So on the title race, let's say we're going to concentrate on the title race in the next 3 or 4 games. We might be able to put some gap between us and Milan if Napoli does the right job. But having say so, it's really too early, guys. And you know how many times you had a team that started with 10, 12, 13 games unbeaten and then it drops.
Yeah,
so
that's why I didn't.
I'm not going to call victory in the month of November. Definitely, I'll start thinking of what if we do this, if we do this. But let's keep the 5th place at 9 points. And then in April, May, we're worrying about.
That's why I didn't start with the table tonight, because it completely slipped my mind that there was another match day on tomorrow morning. I couldn't believe it. I could not believe when I checked the live score app. Tomorrow morning, bro. Tomorrow morning there will be games, and then the day later as well. So it's just going to be back to back. So thank you.
That's another thing. Sorry, talking about the title race so many months before. Wait, 1 game every 3 days, so you can get injury with all this international traveling where you can get COVID. With all this international cup, Napoli's got 3 players leaving for the African Cup. You know what? Verona can come up and win the title if everybody got injury and COVID sick players. You know what I mean? So
because none of their players will go on international duty. If you're a mid-table club, you're cheering at the moment.
And Anthony, I remember when Inter got eliminated by Champions League. Everybody was pissed, and everybody said, "You know what, Conte? You better deliver the title now because you got no excuses." Remember,
pretty much,
you're the only team playing once every 7 days.
Yeah,
guys,
exactly
in the long
right.
run, having the chance to coach your team, it's not because you're playing that often, but because the coach can coach the team. Right now, there is no coaching happening. Right now, it's a recovery, preparation game. There's no tactical. I'm actually surprised that Napoli's got so many set pieces organized, because I don't know how they find the time to do that.
Yeah, fair enough. Thanks, Armando. Thanks, Adam. Over to
Sorry,
the next...
one more thing, Anthony.
Yes, brother.
It's the week of Maradona's birthday. It's the first birthday since Maradona died. So I would like to wish, wherever he is, Diego, happy birthday. Sorry, guys, just take a personal thing for this.
No worries, brother. No worries. Next game. Big Derby d'Italia was on the cards. Quality on the pitch didn't necessarily live up to the hype, but I have my friend Riccardo here to go through it with me. I'll start if you don't mind, sir. Decent first half by Inter, kept the ball pretty well. I think what we did well was muscle Locatelli well out of midfield. I said it on my match preview on Inter Worldwide with my friend from Canada, Juventini, Daniel Lucci. I said if Brozovic and Barella can sort of grab the game, they'll help Inter control majority of the game, as I see Allegri playing conservative football. At the end of the day, it's not a good look when you take the lead, and then against a Juve side that I think Inter could have possibly taken it to a lot better in the second half. rather than sit back. Inter played in the second half almost like they really didn't really want to sniff at goal. They were really happy to sit back. Allegri's decisions to leave Dybala and Chiesa on the bench until so late, I guess, would come under scrutiny and criticism times 100 more if there was no penalty and no Dybala goal at the end to get that 1-1 result. But the result does look a little better for Allegri and his decisions now. Overall, not a good second half from Inzaghi. I think his substitutions were poor. I think Ivan Perisic has demonstrated to Inter fans this season that he's just a complete professional and an athlete and deserves his respect. And Inzaghi likes to sub early, boys. He really loves those 55th to 60th minute subs, and sometimes it's not just one of them. So we're shifting a large tactical frame and a large bit of our structural play off at one moment. And Denzel Dumfries proving once again that the transition to Serie A from any league in the world, let alone the Eredivisie, is tough enough as it is. And you're coming into a position where Italy has a reputation of literally throwing you out the window if you don't perform there immediately. Overall, 1-1 is a fair result. The penalty decision at the end, I would echo sort of what Adam was saying before. In real time, none of these decisions in modern football are a penalty. That's why the referees are so quick to blow and dismiss it. But the VAR intervenes. The VAR says that it's a clear error from the referee and therefore we need to intervene. I wasn't impressed. I hate the way that this is the derby, that it was decided like this. But, everyone saw my normal reaction after the game. And once you have a cooler head and you look at it and you just see for it what it is, and this is going to happen game after game. In Italy, you will be called offside when the VAR and ref thinks you're offside with whatever part of the body they think counts as offside on the particular day. And other than that, you will be awarded a penalty if the referee and the VAR decide on the day that their decision is the one that is correct and counts. But overall, I would say the result was a fair one, 1-1. Riccardo, over to you, my friend.
Yeah, thanks, Anthony. I agree with you. The result overall was the correct one. Regarding the VAR, guys, it's just it's week in, week out. It depends in which way the team we get it. But we all won the VAR, and now we got it. And end of the day, you know what I mean? There's a things from FIFA and UEFA saying to the referee around the world, don't use any hands movement when there is a clear chance, because then it can get, people can say, well, yeah, why you say keep going, and then the VR call him, because the VR call you if there is a mistake inside the box. If there was outside the box, the VR will not intervene. So let's be clear on this, because there's a lot of speculation that it gets used for Juventus, it gets used against Juventus. Well, sorry, going back to last week, to me it feels like even if Juventus score, the VR gets looked. We scored with the Roma, and there was a VR that looked at it, if you remember. Now, going back on Sunday, there was a clear mistake from the ref, and the VR didn't make the decision, just told the ref, listen, there's a mistake, go check it. He looked at it, he realized it was a mistake, was penalty, was clear penalty. Regarding the games, I agree with Anthony. Yeah, it was one half for each team. Inter looked good, but they didn't really shot a lot of goals. How Anthony say, Allegri at the moment is trying to stop the bleeding, and he's did it. We're recovering. We not probably look great to watch, but we're getting the point. Juventus is the only team that faced 4 on the top of the ladder, and that's, we lost 1, we draw 2, and we beat the Roma. So I'm not saying we're looking good, but we're not that far, because now Roma, Inter, Milan, Inter, they need to face each other. So maybe they drop some point. We probably have an easy run if we can try to get some point from the 10 we got behind. Also, yes, I agree with Anthony. Inzaghi made his subs really early, and then Allegri was smart to make it, put a Dybala and Chiesa in. Also, guys, don't remember there's a clear mistake of Bernardeschi on the 1-0 from Inter. He had his shoulder out and he We're
Can
trying
I
to
ask you
keep, so
something,
they got-
Ricardo? Can I ask you something, Ricardo? In my post-match interview on my Inter Worldwide channel, I said something, and I wanted to see if you agree with me. Bernardeschi, as a professional, when you're playing at a club like a magnitude like Juventus, you need to make that decision. If your shoulder hurts too much, you make a decision. You look at your manager and you say, change me, or you continue on the pitch in a game like Inter. You can't make a decision. And because I actually saw him walk off and say, no, like uno minuto, what, 1 minute.
Yeah.
Brother, it's the
Yeah,
derby. Don't fart us around with your coach's tactics.
And that cost us. That cost us. That exactly cost. But it's a professional player. I see this in two ways. It's a professional way. You should ask for the change, stop the game, and get the change. Saying Bernardeschi, all the critics he received in the last 3 years, to me, is actually also attachment to the jersey. You know what I mean? He wants to fight for the jersey. So I don't blame the guys. You know what I mean? It's doing it right. But yeah, I agree. If the shoulders out, is out, man. You need the change. But well, end of the day, 1-1 was the right result. In the second half, in the sit back surprisingly, and feels like they didn't want to win. They want to do the 1-0 kind of things. With you, it's always hard. You're taking a big risk to do to play for the 1-0 against Juventus, and we were lucky to recover at the end with the penalty. It was a clear penalty, whatever people can say it or not say, it was a clear penalty. And actually, I gotta spend awards for the Brazilian young guy we got, Caio Jorge. That's not actually a guy from a video game. It's a soccer player, and he did it really good in the 7-8 minutes he played. He touched a few balls, didn't make a mistake. And also, Allegri praised him at the end, saying this guy's got the Brazilian touch in the European body. So I wouldn't be surprised that we'll see more of him, because if you notice, when Chiesa come in and Dybala come in, the box was empty. Dybala, Kulusevski, before they tried to cross in the middle, there was no people in the box. And
No target man.
Lacking.
Sorry? No target man. Nobody there.
Yeah, it's lacking on a striker. Morata, it's not the real number 9. No, Morata is more. He can play with the number 9. So we actually missing player like Dzeko or Ibrahim or Osimhen. Just say names. Someone that stays on the area. Is angry for goal. And I think that's one of the problem. I hope this Caio Jorge can make the difference. Also, I think it's more like a Firmino kind of team. Kind of player, like a Liverpool guy. So it's not in the box. But hopefully, our legacy say it's young, it's crazy, and he might score. So end of the day, one good result for us. Now let's see if we can recover these 10 points behind, and then in February, how the coach said, we see where we're standing and see how we gotta go.
Thanks, brother. Yeah, I would agree. Just one thing. A little bit lucky, but Inzaghi invited the luck. And, Juventus is the last team in the league that you should be inviting luck to. So Inzaghi, hopefully he learns his lesson. Last team in the league you should be sitting back against. And, I would have to agree. This Caio Jorge, however you say his name, he looks very, very good, Rick. Definitely doesn't look like Gabigol. That's for sure, man. Looks like you've got a decent Brazilian talent there, bro. Adam, did you want to ask something, bro, before we move on to Milan?
I was just going to ask, what's the reaction been, Anthony, amongst the Interfaithful in regards to, because you could just see as soon as Inzaghi made those changes, the game shifted towards Juventus, and they dominated for the rest of the game. Did he get trigger happy? Were the players tired? Did he try and go a little bit more defensive because you were 1-0 up? If that's the answer, that he tried to go more defensive, he certainly did it too early. But what's the reaction been like?
The reaction was it's a weird one, because 89th minute, bro, he's 95% of the way done. If they didn't get that penalty at the end, you'd probably be all sitting here talking about an Inzaghi masterclass, like Allegri pulls his 1-0 masterclasses every week. But it didn't happen. It didn't happen.
The pressure, though.
Exactly. That's what I mean. And that's why I can't acknowledge it, man. He invited the pressure too much. And even with no target man and Dybala and Chiesa creating 90% of the ball and the chances outside of the box, all the pressure was there. And Inter's the sort of side where, as long as I've watched them, when we absorb too much pressure, we make mistakes and we concede goals. The only time I haven't seen us absorb pressure and concede goals is when you have that rock-ass mentality of a coach that comes in, Antonio Conte, and very few others, because players genuinely feared being slapped on the neck if they conceded or made a mistake after the game. I've said it before and I'll say it again, man. We lost a lot of that mental, psychological fortitude when you have so many characters, not just Conte, Oriali and Pintus walked out behind him. There's your assistant manager on the sideline and your fitness director as well and your main trainer. So there is a lot of that mental focus that has shifted. I still think Inter's got the players to have a good season because when you look at Inter's players, they're strong players. These aren't weak players mentally. They want to succeed and they want to play well. But against Juventus, as we just said, you don't be inviting that sort of pressure in the 89th minute, bro. It can only end up with one thing and one thing only. Amo?
Well, can I say something?
Yeah.
I agree with you. Conte's a big loss for Inter. You can see the player. They play, but they're not playing for the coach. Conte was more, it gets everything out of the player. And if it was Conte on the bench, probably the game would be ending up 1-0. And but it's not. Unfortunately, it's not Conte. He left. So the way after this 9 game, I can see that. To me, Inter is got the squad, but it's missing on something. I think it's more a mental thing. It's believe from the player, and maybe Inzaghi is showing his limits. He's a coach. To me, today I see it looks like it's Milan-Napoli here. The only Milan winning with 2-2. You can see then scoring 2 goals. I don't know. Feels like it's the kind of strange year, but I think the race is between Napoli and Milan this year.
We'll see. Amo.
Yeah, besides pretend not to listen to Riccardo, and you guys don't see my hands, but right now I'm scratching my jewelry. That's something that Riccardo. I don't want you to say ever again. It's Milan season. Let's chink.
Anthony.
On the Inter Juventus game, I didn't watch the game, but I watched a lot of YouTube reaction after. And amongst the Inter world, from the journalists like Bianchini to the last Inter supporter YouTuber unknown, they all mentioned the same thing. So I want to ask you guys, because I didn't watch the game. Apparently, when he took off Perisic was the dangerous man on the park, and he just put he's supposed to put at least on the right back, put the Marcos, people saying, because at least he knows how to defend, instead to put Dumfries, that everybody knows that going back, he doesn't have a clue about defending. So is that true that Perisic was dominating or was the most dangerous player towards Juventus? And,
yes.
If that's so, he's probably really stuffed it up, Inzaghi. And that's not the first time that I heard that Inzaghi's substitution are really bad.
Oh, man, it's his biggest flaw as a manager, in my opinion. My first biggest red flag for his substitutions actually came last season for Lazio against you guys, Anthony, where he pulled out Immobile and I think and Luis Alberto at the same time in the 84th minute. Same time.
Yeah.
Like, these are your 2 best players. They scored both of their goals, I think, as well in that game. And he just pulled them both out just like that. Sometimes the energy levels are important, but sometimes the personality is just more important, to be honest, man. So Amor Perisic not only was he the best player, I've got a lot of respect for athletes like Perisic. They get better with age. He's been one of our best players all season. He had a very tough mental time at Inter before Conte arrived. And then he went to Bayern Munich, won the treble, and was starting a lot of those games. And then he came back to Inter and won a Scudetto. And so, big up to him. He's part of the creme of the crop in terms of professional athletes, man. And I like him a lot. And who knows, he might even get a little contract extension at the end of the season. But if he doesn't renew, that's a free agent that I think every single club in Europe should be wanting to sign. Anth, over to you, man. It's been a good show so far. You have the floor. 4-2. This game reminded me of when Inter went 2-0 down to Torino last season and came back to win 4-2, bro. This just had Grinta written all over it. Man, I'll just let you talk, man. It was a crazy game. I was enjoying it.
Yeah, it was very similar to that game, man. Credit to us, we got 3 points, but let's face it, we made that way harder than it had to be. If you watch the game, you'll know what I'm speaking about. But look, Pioli's dealing with a long list of injuries, Mike Magnan, Theo, Diaz, Rebic, they're all starters. So when fit, so the lineup's being tested. He's playing Balotore at left back, and Krunic as an attacking midfielder. That's not his natural position. He's not an attacking midfielder as such. And even Castelleo, who couldn't get a run a couple of weeks ago, started in the team. So Tate goals as well. He's no Mike Maignan. He's doing okay, but he's always a bit shaky in goals. So, to register another 2 wins with these injuries, you'll take it. It's positive. I think you've got to give a lot of credit to Pioli. I think he's someone that it doesn't get enough credit. Let's face it, you wouldn't look at him in the same light as you look at Allegri or Conte or Jose or even Sarri to an extent. People don't see him in that light, but what he's done over the last 2 years, I think, is fantastic, and I think he's a bit underrated.
Do you think that works to his advantage, Am? Sorry to interrupt you. Do you think having that monkey off his shoulder and not being seen in that limelight, having that big salary, do you think that's really worked to his advantage, flying under the radar these last couple of years?
I think it does, Anth, but I think now the pressure's starting to come, because we're starting to perform. So previously, we were a team that hasn't done anything for a decade or, let's say a decade. And now that we're starting to perform a bit, his decisions have been scrutinized a bit more. So I reckon as time goes on, there's a bit more pressure coming on him. But what I like about him is it looks like he's built a good culture at Milan. You can feel that the team, you're not in the background, so you can't see what's going on. But it seems like there's a good culture and chemistry between the team. They're playing for each other. And what I like about him, he never makes excuses, really. He doesn't hide behind injuries. If you watch him in press conferences, he doesn't say, we've got these players out, or, he doesn't use it, or the referee even. If the referee makes a bad decision, he'll say it, but he gets on with it. I think he's just brought that stability that we needed. And, when he got appointed, a lot of people were thinking, Maldini, what are you doing? We need someone bigger than this to take this club forward. But, Pioli, good on him. I think he deserves a lot of credit and doesn't get enough. Yes.
Can I say my on Pioli? Because probably I'm one of those that used to underrate Pioli. I think Pioli pays way too much his pass. His pass, his previous.
He's passed. Yeah.
Passed. I think he's paying people like Perdarelli, Prandelli. I will never rate him, even if he wins the Champions League. For me, Prandelli stays at Perdarelli, and Pioli is one of those guys. He seems to have this black dark shadow behind him. And even at Milan, the first year they want to get rid of him. He's only been there because something happened. So you're right. He needs more credit because he's been doing really good. He's done good for the last 2 years. I think the day he will lift that trophy, I will do a little bit the next step. Maybe we'll get his credit. But right now, I think he pays more than he's due because of his past. Was he at Inter Milan once, Anthony?
Yeah, he took over in that disaster season where we needed the caretaker after De Boer, and he won 9 games in a row, and then we averaged 1.5 injuries per game after that, and then he went with it. Yeah.
And everybody.
Can I say something about Pioli?
Yeah, of course, go.
Yeah, to me, Pioli, it's he's been there for a long time. He's done a great job Fiorentina when he had the chance to have a program with the team. He did it with Lazio before Inzaghi come in, and now he's doing to Milan. But it's kind of a coach to me reminds me Zaccheroni,
and he won us with
Bagnoli,
So.
Bagnoli, you know what I mean? 1 year and then that's it. Then he's gone.
Well, but I think the key for him is in Europe. Yeah, like if you look at the game against Porto, we got dominated. So. Can he make us take that next? We shouldn't get dominated by Porto, regardless of our injuries. Yeah, they got done 5-1 by
no
Liverpool.
Easy team to play, Porto.
I know, but they got done 5-1 by Liverpool, and they should have beat us 3-4-0. So I just think at that level, we're still lacking a bit, maybe. I don't know if it's the players or him, but I think he deserves to go. And he's on the right track, Riccardo, I think.
He's the right. No, don't get me wrong. He's on the right track. He's doing a great job with the youngest, but because they're youngest, when you start to get 2-3 top players, then his limit will be, right. You know what I mean? Because you have Ibrahimovic plays 30% of the games, so he's not putting his feet down. But you start to get players like, big names, he will struggle.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you look at the game itself on the other night against Bologna, we started pretty well, and we came out of the blocks, firing. It was looking good, and we got ahead with the goal. Nice finish by Leao. Then the red card for, I think you say Samoro or Samaro, I don't know how you say his surname, but there's a debate whether, Krunic was through on goal and was going to get the ball. But for me, bad luck, whether he was going to get the ball or not. If you're the last man and you decide to make that challenge, but you be ready for the consequences, which is a red card. So for me, it's a full red, bad luck, whether he was going to get it or not. Then you get Capitano Calabria, which is, good to see him. He's flying at the moment. Beautiful finish from the goal. You just love his conviction, how he attacks the ball in that situation to finish. You know, 2-0 at halftime, you think this is going to be a 3-4-0 win. They're 10 men. We're going to cruise here. The second half, you could just feel something wasn't right. It was very slow. It looked like we were just trying to see the game out from the 46th minute, too early, even with 10 men. And within 3 minutes, it's 2-2. And you're thinking, how does this happen against 10 men? You know, we can't be conceding 2 goals against Bologna. And credit to Bologna, yeah, they went for it. They didn't sit back. They thought, well, yeah, we'll just go for it. And then we get another bit of luck, the red card for Soriano. When I say luck, it was a red card. For me, again, it's another red card. If you go in like that and you land on his ankle and you nearly break his ankle, if you saw the pictures, then that's a red card. Regardless if you didn't mean it or not, you can't do that in this day and age. The VAR's always going to hit you and the referee's going to send you off. So I don't even think the ref had any other option there either.
Anthony, the problem, you know what is on that? It's unfortunate. It's a different interpretation every referee.
There's no consistency. That's right.
There's no consistency on that. I'm not saying it's no fault, but there's no consistency on the kind of fault. So,
but I'm all for the referees protecting players. Yeah, if you're going to go in like that and potentially ruin his season, for me,
but there's going to be
send them all off. Send them all off. That's right.
It needs to be every referee, not just
I agree.
Two heavy legs on the Serie A. You know what I mean? It's going to be all 10 of it.
Consistency.
And,
so
sorry, go on. No, finish and then I'll ask you a question.
All right. So, where was that? So we just got the red card from Soriano, and you think, okay, here we go. We're going to win this. Even with 9 men, I don't know if you watched the game, Bologna had 2 chances to go 3-2 up. And again, credit to them. They went forward, and Arnautovic had a one-on-one. And I think his name's Tiate or something. Back post header off a corner, and Tata saved it. So I'm thinking, what's going on here? We're against 9 men here. We're nearly losing 3-2 to Bologna, being 2-0 up. 84th minute hits, and you're thinking, all right, let's just take a point and get out of here. And then, a brilliant volley by Benacer from outside the box. And once we get 3-2, it's game over. He had an awesome game too. He's an underrated midfielder, Benacer. When he gets going, there's not many plays that can get the ball deep and take on a player and push forward. And I was skeptical about him when he came across from Empoli, but the more I watch him, the more he's a modern-day midfielder. Even though he's short, he's just got everything you need in that defensive midfield position. And he even set up the last goal for Ibra. He drove forward, took on a player, drove forward. And as soon as you see Ibra outside the box like that, he's gonna put that in the corner. So another win. Despite the injuries, it's good to see some of the players getting a run, getting a chance to prove themselves. But I don't think Krunic is the right person for that position, the 10 position there. Toure's starting to find his feet. He's playing well. And even, I feel for Samuel Castillejo, the poor bloke. He came on, he got his chance, he got injured at 45 minutes and off he went. And love him or hate him, that guy, he will give you 100% every time he plays for the team. He makes a lot of mistakes, but, I feel for him just because he gives 100% when he's on the pitch. So, look, overall, another 3 points. That's what we wanted. We're 8 wins and 1 draw. How can you ask for more at the start of a season? Nice little gap to third now. I know what Armo and the boys were saying before. We're starting to play Roma this week. And, even Torino tomorrow, when you got Juric coaching Torino, you never know what you're up against. So it's a must win for us, given that you've got Roma and Inter coming up. And we need the big guns back for those games. Let's face it. You need Theo and Diaz hopefully back for those games on the weekend. But, you say Tao, Armo, why not? I don't think there's a dominant team in the Serie A this year. I think there's no reason why we can't win this league. So we'll see. We'll see.
Anthony, I agree. Even for Napoli, there is no reason why not to say no. But once again, we don't even on game 10. And there is international break, African Cup, COVID.
And we lose Benacer and Kessie.
Champions League.
Yeah, I know. But I'm saying every team at the top is gonna have this issue. So for me, no reason why we can't win it. You can't win it. I can see
at this stage, all I care is put as many points as possible between us and wherever is behind. Then we'll talk about. Riccardo's smiling because Riccardo did a few seasons.
Come on, Amo, you got the Napoli game postponed,
Riccardo,
man.
3 or 4 years ago.
Africa Cup what?
It was after 10 games, was a minus 11 from Napoli. All right. And after the end of the season, it was plus 25 on Napoli and won the title. So Riccardo and Allegri not going to make me this time. I'm going to wait until the last game. When I see Juventus on minus 20s, 2 games to go, I'm gonna do this all right. Juventus out of the competition. Allegri's doing it again, man. He's doing it again. He hasn't lost a game in the last 6 games.
He stopped the bleeding. He stopped the bleeding.
Yeah, no,
We are over intensive care, but we're still sitting on the hospital bed.
I know. But Allegri is the MacGyver of football, man. He come up with the strange things and fix things the way he does.
Hey, we're talking about Milan. This is a Milan chat. And
I was about to say, man.
What's going on, boys? Come on.
Let Adam get in. He's been wanting to ask questions.
Anthony,
Let me reel it back.
it's all tactical. I'm trying to jinx Juventus.
Bravo.
Anthony, unfortunately, what Armando's saying is, even if you're 10 points in front, you are still scary.
I know. Don't worry. I know. We know that. But you know what? Like 8-1, and we're showing the signs. Even when we're not playing well, we're getting points. So that's all we can ask for. So if we continue on that way, we should be there. Yeah, Adam.
I just want to bring up. I think it's important that we discuss Calabria. You and I know we've got a mutual friend who's been banging on about this kid for more than a year now, and it took me a while to warm to him. But I've just gained a bit more respect every time that I've watched him over the last since the beginning of this season. Been rewarded with the captaincy. I'm just interested to know from you, as someone who's probably watched him obviously more than I do. I always love a youth product coming through. Being at Romanista and the players that we brought through, it's always something that's been special to me. And I'm sure it is for supporters of other clubs as well. But how far do you think this kid could go? And do you think that he's a candidate to? Well, he's obviously going to challenge Di Lorenzo at Qatar for leading up to Qatar 2022. Do you think he'd actually displace him by the time the World Cup comes around? And his trajectory has been amazing so far. So how far can he go, do you think?
I'm the same as you. It took me a while to warm to him. Actually, when he first started as the kid in the team, we really liked him. And then I think slowly there seemed to be like maybe just this part of him that became, you say arrogant, you don't know, but he just seemed to start going down that path where he was annoying Milan supporters. His performances were poor. And he had a really bad year, I think, just before Pioli came. But now I think he's grown as a person as well. And he's even as a captain, just little things he does on the pitch. You just see the different side of him. Can he challenge Di Lorenzo? Adam, I think he's already probably at his peak of his skill level. So, a lot of it will depend on Di Lorenzo and how he goes. But I still think Di Lorenzo is probably a better right back than him at the moment. But as a backup, 100%, you'd have him in the Italian squad at Qatar.
Who's the other option for the national team besides Di Lorenzo?
It was Florenzi, but he's gone.
Yeah.
He's gone.
Can I say something about Florenzi, man? He's done two bad moves. One to PSG, and now one to Milan, where he's got people in front of him that he should have chose his team better.
Even
Florenzi, I think he's a great player, but he done well in Valencia. Then he got back to Roma, went to PSG, didn't do a lot. Then he's gone to Milan. He's got Calabria in front. And I think
look at Palmieri. Look at Palmieri. Palmieri decided he wanted to come back to Serie A. Napoli, Roma, a few clubs were after him. He preferred the money and go to PSG, and he's out of the radar now.
No, Lyon.
Whatever he was. He even was.
But he's playing. He's playing every week.
Yeah, but if you see him playing, it looks like it's going with the third gear stuck in. Can't run anymore. Man, when you play those league, honestly, beside PSG, those league, you training twice a week. You have a beer after the game.
No, man.
It's like playing
EPL
in Australia.
It's a gun, man, from Lyon.
Huh?
The Chilio come back is a gun from Lyon.
Oh, God. Don't even speak about the Chilio. We don't want to talk about him. But even Adam, on Calabria, right? It's a bit weird at Milan. Romagnoli's our captain, but he's on the bench.
He's on the bench.
I don't know how many clubs have got their captain that doesn't play most, but he plays.
Juventus.
He's on the bench a lot.
Juventus.
Totti.
Chiellini.
Yeah, I know, but Chiellini's a lot older, so he's at.
But still
Romagnoli's our captain, so I prefer Calabria as a captain anyway. So I'd love to see him in the Italian squad, but I don't know if he can displace Di Lorenzo. We'll see. But we're loving life.
I think he can, though, man, to be honest. I think if he keeps this form up, man, he can replace Di Lorenzo. I think when Di Lorenzo is playing for Napoli is good, but when he comes and plays for Italy, we can see that he's definitely one of the weaker links on the Azzurri side. So I think that Calabria's not too far away from playing himself into form. So if he can have a really good season, I think he'll actually be the front runner for the World Cup.
He can play midfield too.
Yeah, he can. He can push up and play defensive midfield as well.
Yeah.
Not a problem there. All right, let's move on. We'll fly through the rest of the games, but we definitely need to give some attention to this one. Giovanni Simeone has found his team. Let's all rejoice. It's about time, man. That guy has looked out of place everywhere he's gone, but he's found his club at the moment, and it's Hellas Verona. 4 goals for Diego Simeone's son, and it was his game, man. I haven't seen a striker dominate a game like that in Serie A for a long time. The other team that took the pitch that day was that Lazio. I didn't recognize them because that team whooped Inter's ass 3-1, but that wasn't the same Lazio that took that pitch. So that's all I'm going to say about that. I'm going to go around the table for a few others that saw this game, and I'll start with you, Adam, man. What did you think?
Yeah, exactly what you just touched on there, Anthony. They're a bit of Jekyll and Hyde, aren't they, this season, Lazio? Yeah. Can beat Roma and Inter, but then flounder against teams like Bologna and Verona. But Igor Tura, he deserves some recognition since taking over. He's beaten both Roman clubs, and they're playing attractive football. So all credit to him. I didn't think personally he had it in him coming back to Serie A, but obviously he's won over the dressing room, and like I said, playing a brilliant football. This guy here on screen, everything he touched turned to gold. I'm glad that I watched this one because it was great to see from this kid who's. Look, he's been in Serie A for a long time, hasn't he? And he's always been there or thereabouts. And this is certainly, sometimes you just have those games where, everything falls for you. So well done to him. Well done to Verona. Definitely, deserved the victory. Lazio patches in that game where they could have got back into it, hit the crossbar, missed a couple of easy chances, and went wanting from there. And one a day to forget. What I'll finish with is, as a Romanista, it was there's a meme that came out today that I saw, which was in response to Lazio putting out a meme last week after we lost to Bordeaux, which it had six pictures of Mourinho, and it had special 1, special 2, special 3, up to 6. And the Romanisti put out one this morning that had Simme 1, Simme 2, Simme 3, Simme 4. So it doesn't take long. Football's a funny game where it doesn't take long to do revenge. So,
it really doesn't. It really doesn't. It is good banter. Armando, man, like what's the go for this character here? Because
listen, 2 things. First of all, if they keep going like this, we all need to apologize to Verona. All of us. We need to do a special episode just to apologize to Verona. Because every week they surprise me, and every week I'm ashamed of what I said before. We need to delete that episode, man. If you can go back, delete that episode or cut when we talk about Verona, because all of us didn't give any credit. So heads off. Simeone, man, I don't know. 4 in 1 game, it's a magical thing. Is he gonna keep the 4? But who cares? They're doing great so far. But back to Sarri, guys. Sarri, I had him at Napoli. You know how much he dragged me with beautiful football. But you know my opinion. It's a guy that goes with the same plan. He's already have his substitution strategy. He's already pre-planned. He doesn't have a plan B. He does not change the game or does substitution to fix the game. And I keep saying, Napoli lost the Scudetto against Juventus in Florence because this guy doesn't have a plan B. Because the moment you receive a red card against Fiorentina, and they have 3 strikers like Chiesa, Bernardeschi, and Simeone, any coach in the world will take off a striker and put a defender and put 4 at the back. This guy, no. We play with 3 at the back against 3 strikers. And then he come up with the excuses. We lost in the hotel. We lost it. This guy needs to... It's, Riccardo is exactly one of those coaches that you mentioned.
But Simeone scored. Simeone scored too.
Sorry? And Simeone scored 2 again. Yeah. Because he likes to press high, leave space. Look at the goal that Lazio conceded and think about the goal that Napoli conceded when we lost the race against Scudetto. They're very similar. People just drive through our defense line, and that's what happened to Lazio. I love his idea, but he needs to adjust, and also he needs to change his style too, because other teams learn it now. You could see. It's become more often. And he doesn't have, before at Napoli, he had Koulibaly, he had Albiol centre back. You know how many times they save him? Now he doesn't have the luxury. So it's going to attack, but he doesn't know how to defend, and that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, but can I say something? You had the Sarri, I had the Sarri. I think Simeone scored with Napoli. He scored against Juventus with Genova.
Yeah.
And now he scored with every time you see Sarri.
If you look Sarri will concede goal and lose games always against the same coaches or the same player. You will see.
Yep.
It's seriously.
Yeah, you know what? Actually, what really, well, from last year pissed me off. I mean, last year a lot of things pissed me off. Guys, Tudor was a technical coach. Wasn't even second in charge of Juventus. Can you guys believe it? He was a defensive coach.
Yeah.
And we had the Banana Pirlo coaching the team. Wow, I can't believe it.
Good decision at the time. Hindsight is 2020, man. But yeah, it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good for Lazio.
I think a couple of fans, not Juventini fans, were happy that you guys appointed Pirlo. We really said that you change him this year. We all want Pirlo to have a second chance.
Yeah, we were very upset. It was the wrong decision, and I hope he comes back for many years. Amo, you caught this game. You caught this game, didn't you, my friend? Empoli versus Salernitana. Yes. What I will say before we start, Empoli striker Pinamonti, who is an Inter player, is getting into form just before Empoli play Inter. So you can guess what I'm going to tell Bet365 when I call them to put a bet on Thursday morning. I'm going for Pinamonti on the score sheet against Inter on Thursday morning. It's best to happen. But listen, also a sad state of affairs for Salernitana and the coaching situation.
Listen, first of all, it's really sad that Salernitana sacked a coach that took him to Serie A for losing games with a squad that is not up to standard. The whole club story at the back, the fact that they need to sell, there is no stability. There is no one knows who's in charge. You know, it's a mess. And blaming the poor coach. There is that picture that goes around on the internet. This guy sitting on the bench on the Lugomare.
Yeah, I'll put it on.
So sad. It shouldn't be like that. It's sad that a coach has to pay for something and it's out of his control. And in fact, I went to watch this game and Empoli just cruised it. Even if they score the first goal at the start and the second goal at the end of the first half with an own goal, they dominated. And actually, if you go to the Empoli, Tutto Empoli, or read about Empoli, what is it called? Fangulo. Oops, you cut the one. And Empoli report, they actually reckon that they didn't play the best game in the middle. A couple of midfielder players at Empoli, apparently, they underplayed. They did not stand up to their performance. And they destroyed Salernitana. They just walk over them. They are ahead of a Lazio club. The only concern thing that I got about Empoli, it's typical Andreazzoli or Sarri, the kind of coaches consider Lazio goal. They have a negative goal scoring ladder, and the teams below them, they're all in positive. So they're scoring a lot, but they're conceding a lot. That's something in the long run, you might not have the game that you score, but if you're still conceding, that could be a bad side. But overall, Salernitana destined to beat Serie B. That way, Lotito doesn't need to sell, so everybody's going to be happy, Riccardo.
Yeah, for sure. 100%.
Empoli, it's like Verona to me this year. Another surprise. I didn't see them to be in 10 spots, at this stage.
Castori will be back in 7-8 games.
Yeah. Guaranteed.
Amo, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Sorry, one of our old favourites, Cutrone, plays for Empoli. How did he go?
Actually, I was about to mention, besides Simeone scoring goal at Verona, we got Destro scoring a Lazio goal with his club. And now we have Crotone. I saw the game. He did pretty good, and he scored a very nice goal too. So, Crotone is one of those players that I normally beg on the group when I say, stop making superstar from a kid that had 6-7 months good. I think what Crotone went through is exactly that. He got burned. Yeah. Crotone is supposed to be at Empoli and not at Milan 3 or 4 years ago and build up. Maybe now he's in the right environment. He has to build up his confidence, become a proper player, and then think about moving up to a better club.
Yeah,
that loan move to turning young player in Italy too soon. Yeah. That's a big problem.
That loan move to Wolves was a shocking move from a tactical point of view as well. He was playing as a slow target man for Milan, and then moving into a free-flowing system under Nuno Espirito Santo at Wolves. It was horrible. The transition was never going to work for him. So it cut 6 months off his career, even more.
Yeah. And the other striker that AC Milan used to have, the one from Polonia, what was his name?
Piatek.
Piontek.
That's another one that got burned.
Yeah.
It got burned.
After Genoa.
Success in his
Too
head.
quick.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Genoa, that's it. Yeah. Thanks. I more appreciate that, man. Let's move on to a game that I was actually able to catch. Fiorentina go 1-2-3 over Walter Mazzarri's crap Cagliari, man. They are so shit. Sorry for saying that, but there's no other way to say it, man. Vlahovic came to town, scored a goal that I think he enjoyed it more than any Fiorentina fan. If you watch him celebrate, man, it's like he was celebrating himself. So the only thing I'm really going to say before asking Riccardo a question is another good performance from Italiano and his men, showing that they're there. They're there for a Europa League fight this season, in my opinion. They're there to go all the way with the likes of Lazio and Roma and, in my opinion, Atalanta as well. I don't see any reason, barring backroom issues, that they won't have the confidence to pull off a decent season. Riccardo, my question to you is, this dude right here, is he the man to come over to your Bianconeri and take the reins? Is he the one?
Well, that's what the rumor says, but until it's not official, I don't believe it. Well, actually, at the beginning of the season, Roma was a surprise and Fiorentina was a surprise. But I think Comiso nearly broke the toy when he come out and attacked the players. That's unfortunately the level of Comiso. He thinks he's got money, he thinks he can run everything, and I think it was a really bad. He should not say that. He should not say that because you can ruin the season of the Fiorentina. I think Fiorentina's got a great coach. In perspective, I hope he doesn't get to his head. And Vlahovic, he looks good. He even can score on a free kick. So until it's not signed, I don't believe it's coming to Europe. Also because the money Comiso is asking, I think it's out of at the moment our reach. But you never know. You never know. Maybe we close another Chiesa deal. Buy now, pay 10 years. So who knows?
I love it, man. I love it. I love this dude, man. Ruslan Malinovsky. He's one player that you don't want to give even 2 centimeters outside the box, man. I could see this goal coming from a kilometer away when I was watching this game. Really like him. He'd be right up there with the players that I want in my team. But Anthony, a really disappointing showing from Gasperini's men. And, I called this from the start of the season. The wheels are falling off. I don't think Atalanta conceded that goal last season in the last kick of the game because they're probably 4 or 5 goals up. And Udinese, just their typical terrorist football, man. They're the biggest terrorists on the park this season. But when they counter, don't blink too hard because Udinese will punish you as well. Overall, I actually think Atalanta... similar to Inter's situation, albeit against a much lesser opponent. Why are you inviting that sort of pressure all the way till the end there? So, fair result.
Yeah, I agree. The strike from Malinovsky, Ripper, exactly what I was thinking. But I think Atalanta, when you look at their team and they haven't got Goossens, Hatterber, I think you say, Male, Mahele, or however you say his name as well. But the Danish out wide, I think that's where they're lacking, and that's their strength over the last couple of years is wide, how they play out there. Even, they got Pasalic in the middle with Malinovsky, 2 good players, very good players. I remember Milan had Pasalic for 1 year. I don't know why we let him go, to be honest. He's a very good player. Something's not right with Atalanta when you look at the way they're playing. Even up front, he's always rotating between Zapata and Muriel. You see them play one game, one another. There's no consistency there. I just don't see that Atalanta. They would have closed that game out any other year easily. They've got some good plays like that Lovato in the back line. I think he's going to be a decent defender too. That's playing for Atalanta in the centre back. Just before the goal, he nearly scored an own goal and Muslim made a great save. But then, in nearly the 94th minute, I think it was, Beto comes up and gets the equaliser. That's a big 2 points for them to drop. They can't afford to drop a lot more points because they're already starting to, fall behind the top 2. They're still only 1 point behind 4th, so they're still in the running. And, they'll come good when maybe, like we said, other players from our teams have to, go into tournaments and stuff like that. Probably deserve the win. They did have some good chances in the first half, but second half, like you said, mate, dropped too deep, invited the pressure, and they got what they deserved. On Udinese, though, I don't get Udinese and their strategy. Their team on Sunday had 23 players in the squad, I think it was, and only 3 Italians. And all 3 were the goalkeepers. Padelli, Silvestri, and I think his name's Canelos, this young kid. So 3 Italians. So for me, if you're going to go out and buy all these foreigners, You want to improve your squad, yeah? They're 14th in the ladder. So what are they doing? Why are they buying these second-rate foreigners to sit 14th in the ladder? For me, if they get relegated, good. They deserve it, in my opinion. Right? I don't care if they go. I've always, liked to watch them in their stadium. But this year, if they go, mate, give the Italians a go. You're buying all these foreigners that we've never heard of, and you're sitting 14th. So I don't know what you guys think about that, but for me, it annoys me,
In my opinion, they were playing the most negative brand of football in Serie A with Rodrigo De Paul in the side. And so when he left, man, I just thought to myself, it's gonna get worse. But they know how to squeeze out enough points and enough wins or enough really shitty draws against the bottom minnow teams to stay up. And that's what they're gonna do this season, I reckon, man.
Yeah. I think they will stay up, but I just think, I look at the foreigners they got in the team, and you name me one big one, apart from the Spanish one, the winger. He didn't play on the weekend, Delaflu.
Anthony, the Pozzo mentality is get all these people that no one and then sell it. That's the mentality. That's
try and make them look like someone and then get 5 million, 7 million profit on top.
Yeah. That's it.
I agree. I don't think it's good for the club, though. I don't think
what they're doing.
But until the supporter don't complain,
guys, Udinese doesn't have a big company at the back. Udinese needs to do it by the bunch, by the crop. They're getting 30, 40 young kids from everywhere around Europe and the world in, produce, and sell. Yeah. What we see making to the first team, it's only a little portion of what they're doing. Look with the goalkeeper 3 years ago. Half of Serie A goalkeeper now come from Udinese.
Yeah.
So it's the only way they can survive in Serie A. Now, they've been very lucky in the past. They managed to have players like Di Natale, and keep them and have a good system. But eventually, those clubs, they live like this, they're going to drop. I think Sassuolo is another one that's dropping. Atalanta will not stay there forever. Atalanta will be another team that slowly will go 4th place, 5th place, 6th place, and will disappear. Because that's the only way they can survive. Bunch, create, and sell.
But Armo, don't you think there's some Italians that they can do the same thing with as well?
And I tell you what's the problem with Italians. Yeah. I tell you what's the problem with Italians. When I buy João Mario from Nigeria, I give the mom a cow and a sparrow. I paid him the food for the hunt, and that's it. When I need to buy Pasquale Esposito from Grugnano near Napoli, the papa is the agent. No. And what about my cat? And what is the money for my son? And what is the house? And you need to buy for the wife to go move over there. It's too expensive. Italians are too pricey right now. There's nothing they can do. And if you look around, the future, unfortunately, you see, Udinese doesn't buy any player from England, Spain, or the main country where the price tag is very high. They buy from
Slovenia,
Denmark,
Croatia,
Africa,
Africa, where they cheap
Bulgaria.
and they buy by the bunch. Unfortunately, that's the way they do things, but that's the way they've been around so long. Otherwise, Udinese will not be around.
Pozzo's smart, man. Pozzo's smart people. They go Watford too in England. So
you got to think about, Anthony, many teams are happy, and it's normal, just to survive in Serie A.
Yeah, I know. I think my point is, maybe I come from an older era where we loved seeing, 8 Italians and 3 foreigners, and, the league was at its best. I get that they can't do that anymore, but it limits the amount of opportunity that you see some young Italians getting in those teams. If you look at Serie B, you've got... What's that?
It's not something that Italy can control. The day we decide to enter the European Union, we have to bend over to anything Europe wants us to do it. None of Italia wants to be in Europe. Trust me. If they do Italy like Brexit, I go back to Italy just to vote. Because Europe just destroy everything for us, United Europe. Honestly.
You come to Sicily, Amo.
Huh?
You come to Sicily.
Yeah, let's do Sicily exit. Just Sicily, that's it. Out of everything, I'll come there.
Do you think I got one follow up to that? Do you think Italy's going to go down that really bad path of England, where our own homegrown stars are going to cost way too much and be put on that glorified pedestal? You know how when one big English club buys the best British talent, it costs them 60 to 80 million. Is that what's going to happen to the next generation of your Barella, Bastoni, or no?
I think we're halfway through that. Look, poor Juventus. Juventus had to buy Bernardeschi, Chiesa. Now, Chiesa come out to be a very good player. But Juventus already had to pay big money for all the Italian group. I bet the money that Dybala cost half of the price of Chiesa, correct?
Yeah.
You know, and Dybala was Dybala Palermo. Now Chiesa, I'm used to Chiesa because the people knows, but we can say so many other players. You know, that's. I don't know.
Unfortunately, in Italy, there's too many raccomandati going.
That's another thing, you know.
That's another thing, you know what I mean? There's if you know someone and they know someone, then it goes up in Serie B, Serie A. If you know, it stays on the Lega Pro.
But Amo, even Riccardo, when you watch Napoli, if you see 11 foreigners on the field, how do you feel supporting Napoli? That you know.
Unfortunately, that's the soccer today, Anthony. That's the soccer
I know
today.
it's soccer today, but
Hello, to me, if you show me 11 people from Napoli, it's okay. Otherwise, they're all welcome. I don't classify Italians as European anymore. So you can do. There's a club in Spain. What's his name? Bilbao. Riccardo, which one is the club? Bilbao.
Bilbao.
Only players from Bilbao.
Basque.
But you know, Anthony, answering you that, I think with the Zenit, Juventus had 5 Italian or 6 Italian on the ground, so that looked to me different.
Yeah.
But then you see the level of the game. You're going, well, what are you gonna go with?
I got a question for you, Anthony. I got a question for you. Tell me a name of one Italian midfielder or one Italian defender or one Italian striker that I can replace Koulibaly, Anguissane, and Osimhen.
You can't.
So it's a
You got
global
your answer. You got the answer.
Yeah, I know.
Well, you can, but it's going to cost you 200 million.
I understand. Roma can replace what's his name? The player that you got from Napoli, the midfielder. What's his name?
Diawara.
Yeah,
Diawara.
maybe Players like Diawara, I understand.
You want him back? I'll give him back to you.
We like you guys. You can keep it. I know. You can keep it.
Oh man.
So what I'm trying to say, I understand what you say. There is a lot of average player that could be replaced by Italian players, but
a lot. Yeah. I just don't like it when I see it. But anyway, that's this. You know, a team like Udinese, not one Italian on the pitch. I just don't get it. But you've explained what the theory is.
And we wrap it up with one more thing, which is we have to mention Lazio this weekend called up Benito Mussolini grandchild, and I'm really feeling sorry for the kid. The kids got hammered on social media with memes and everything. Just put a surname. That's not nice.
He hasn't even kicked the ball yet. He has not even kicked the ball yet.
I get it. At Lazio's got the things that it's fascista, and the guy's got their name. But the guy grew up in Roma. He did debut for Lazio for Roma.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Riccardo, you mute.
I didn't even see that he was talking. I was too busy on the slideshow. I'll mute him. But last thing I'll say is that there's one player else that I wanted to give a shout out to. It's this man here, a man who was criticized at Inter for a majority of his time, but he just seems to be getting better with age, man. I think they actually attributed the first goal to him. I don't know if it was an own goal, but Calandrella played out of his skin again, and I just wanted to give him that 30-second plug, man, because I love watching him perform. The ball's on the guy when he's got the ball. He thinks he can shoot from 50 meters out. He's one of those players where he's like, you know what? I'm going to score 1 out of 20 of these every season, and I'm going to look like a badass doing it, man. So fair play to him, bro. I just want to see him keep doing well. That's pretty much where we're going to end off, but I'm going to go around the table and let everyone have their last say for Matchday 9, round 9, and also just thank them all very deeply for what's been a really, really, really good episode of the Serie A Roundtable again. So I'll start with Riccardo, my friend. Unmute yourself. Thank you so much for being on the channel. Any last words? You're muted, brother. No. Yeah, that's it.
The internet's running out in Siracusa.
Well done to Milan and Napoli to be up there, and hopefully by February we'll see how things is going to end up, and it's going to be another great Serie A fixture in the next couple of days. Thanks for the invite, guys.
Anytime, bro. The anti-jinx. I love it. Zuamo, your turn.
Yeah, I think Milan is going to win the Scudetto. I think the next 3 games they're going to win 3.
This episode.
Sorry, I'm upstairs. No, guys, always a pleasure to be here. We got replaced by the Yankees last week. Well, we're back. And we're not going to leave ever again.
Cheers, brother. Anthony, it was really good to be joined by you, bro.
Thanks, Anthony. Great chat. interesting chat. But yeah, we're going to win the Scudetto.
Yes.
I agree. It's ours. Thanks, mate.
Jeez, I wasn't going to do it, but I'm just going to put this up here. Let's just remind everyone who is the champions while you're talking about who are going to be the champions. Far out. Far out. Oh, I mean, I'm a quiet one here. Adam, thanks for joining us, my friend. Always a pleasure.
Thanks, boys. I'm looking forward to the Christmas Mercado special already, considering the last what we've talked about the last 15 minutes. So that's going to be a good one. Massive week for everyone. The next time we convene, if we're all on, it's going to be after 2 match days. So the ladder will start to, or the table will start to even out. So we'll see what happens.
Absolutely. We catch up soon with more friends on this channel for all different programs. But from the Serie A Roundtable, thank you very much from all my guests and myself. Ciao ragazzi.
Ciao, belli.